Turbine Guy coming back to you outside Child Perv Weasel Walsh's house here in Orono. Citizen Walsh now no longer mayor, no longer wields unconstitutional power over the residents. And believe it or not, of course we believe it, Weasel Walsh did file his lawsuit through some silly organization called the Upper Midwest Law Center. You know, most likely Walsh had to shop around for lawyers because this lawsuit's so tenuous you can't even see it. Now, the statement of the case reads, Orono unlawfully called for a special election for city council seat in which there is no vacancy by attempting to apply a new ordinance retroactively for the already filled seat. Minnesota law prohibits retroactive application of statutes and ordinances unless expressly indicated, and no special election ordinance can apply retroactively or not expressly authorized by state law to do so. No express state law authority exists. The Minnesota Constitution also prohibits removal of an officer except in very limited circumstances which are not presented here. Now that is quite the statement, and actually quite confusing to someone like me who's been suffering at the other end of Walsh's behavior all of these years. You know, first of all, this is against the will of the people. Walsh got his ass trounced in the election 2-1. Nobody wants anything to do with him, and yet here he is filing this silly lawsuit for Claire Barrett. But, I mean, she would be the only one, I would think, who could file this lawsuit. In fact, I'm not a lawyer, but I got to think she is the only one who actually has standing to file this lawsuit because she is the only person who has something to lose here, which is her seat. Walsh has nothing to do with this. So that standing is going to be a big issue, and I don't think they're going to be able to overcome it. And thank you, Soren Maddock, for not being a lawyer enough to point that out in the council meeting as you hemmed and hawed and wishy-washed around like you always do. You know, it almost seems like you're still protecting Walsh there, Mr. Maddock. Let's not also forget that Mayor Thunheim went to the AG's office and they said everything they're doing is kosher. They could run this election anyways without passing the ordinance. But they simply passed the ordinance to clean up some details. So even if the ordinance might be an issue, state law was on their side all along. Now, something else I find absolutely crazy in here is how Walsh tries to use grandfathering. When, you know, grandfathering has been ignored by the city of Orono for years. In fact, I filed a lawsuit about fence viewers a number of years ago. The city of Orono petitioned the state legislature to change a statute while Walsh is on the council, while Maddock was lawyer, and they got the fence viewer statute changed statewide, then went to the court and said, hey, Nygaard gets to lose because of this new statute. And I'm like, wait a minute, grandfathering. And they're like, nope. So right there, Orono set the precedent that grandfathering isn't something that they adhere to. Secondly, our wind turbines were in before any statutes were put up to outlaw them, and yet they went after those. Our wind turbines should have been grandfathered as well. So this idea that they got in here that grandfathering's going to save them is BS, because any attorney who's going to be fighting for Orono is going to easily be able to say, Orono has argued more than once over the last decade or more that grandfathering is irrelevant to the residents of Orono. And like I said, Walsh participated in those. So Walsh wants to have grandfathering to win his case, but other people don't get to. What a frickin' hypocrite. And I'm going to say shame on the Upper Midwest Law Center who's representing Walsh. I mean, where were they when Walsh is sitting here violating their rights, constitutional rights of residents in the community, not a simple technicality like he's doing? They don't care about that. My guess is all they care about is the money they're getting, and maybe they should have done a little better background check on someone like Walsh. Anyone out there who thinks Claire Barrett has nothing to do with this like she claims, that's complete BS. Because she could easily have put a stop to this. Turbine Guy's got to think there's something going on behind the scenes between them, or let's just say between the sheets. The lawsuit is actually filed. Walsh is going to go against your will, people of Orono. He's going to continue to fight and waste your money just like he was the most litigious mayor Orono's ever had. He's going to be the most litigious resident, it seems, now. And I'll tell you what, here's a problem with former Orono Mayor Walsh. He's nothing better than a bad case of VD that you work so hard to get rid of for years and just keeps coming back. When will the madness end? Whoever knows with this creep. Turbine Guy, signing out.